The views, information, and opinions expressed during the following program are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent the views of Access Communications, its representatives, or its employees.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for attending, and maybe a round of applause. Great meal, aren't we having? My name is Candace Toma, and I work with the City of North Battleford, and glad to be the MC for this event today. We have an overwhelming response for attendance today, so we truly thank you for coming and making this a priority in your busy day. At this time, as we open our event, I would like to call our galleries manager to the stage, Leah Garvin, to provide our official land acknowledgement.
Excuse me. I'd like to acknowledge that we are in Treaty 6 territory, traditional lands of the Nehewak, Nakwe, Nakota, Dakota, Lakota, and the Dene people, and the homeland of the Métis. This land acknowledgement pays respects to the ancestors of these lands since time immemorial. And this includes, but is not limited to, those leaders who in good faith entered into agreement to share the land some 149 years ago. It pays respect to future generations who live, learn, and thrive in this territory, and to the continuing stewards of the region, our colleagues, partners, and our neighbors, who respect and revere the land and take care to sustain it so that future generations can enjoy its gifts. This acknowledgement further reaffirms our relationship with one another and our solemn and sacred agreement to share the land together.
Thank you, Leah. At this time, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome our new mayor, Kelli Hawtin, to the stage. Mayor Hawtin is the youngest and first female mayor in the history of our city. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Kelli Hawtin.
Thank you so much, Candace, for the introduction, and thank you all for your very warm welcome. I would like to especially thank Leah for the meaningful land acknowledgement. Leah gives a very true and heartfelt land acknowledgement, and it's appreciated that you took the time to do that for us today. So as mentioned, I'm Mayor Kelli Hawtin, and I'm honored to be here today to give my remarks at my very first State of the City event. I'd like to start off by truly thanking everyone for joining us today. Thank you to our city staff for organizing today's luncheon, which was an excellent meal catered by Epic Ventures Catering. Thank you to Access TV and the local media present. Today's event will be broadcast on Access TV, and the recording will be uploaded to the city's YouTube channel in the coming days for those who've missed the event. I'd like to thank our corporate sponsors, Napa Auto Parts, B+ Workplace Solutions, and Braylon Technology Solutions for their support today. All proceeds beyond the cost of the meals will be donated to the Battleford's Interval House, who you saw on your way in. They're an important organization in our community. They've been providing shelter and support services to women and children fleeing domestic violence since the 1980s. A round of applause, please, for our sponsors and to the Battleford's Interval House for their incredible community contributions. Now, given my remarks today don't just represent me, they represent our entire City Council, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the City Councillors who are in the room. If you could please stand. We've got Councillor Kent Lindgren here, Councillor Bill Ironstand, and Councillor Rod Fedler are in the back. The other three councillors unfortunately couldn't make it today, so thank you guys for coming today. If our city directors could also just give a wave so everybody can see where you are, city directors and city manager. Thank you guys. And thanks to other regional leaders I see here, the town of Battleford, Battleford's Regional Community Coalition, and Battleford Tribal Council all here today. Now, before I get started, I just want to give you a little bit of feedback from a 9-year-old. who's been listening to me prepare for today. She said, "Mom, everything you're saying is really interesting, but I'm really hoping people don't doze off." I love where we live, and I truly mean this. It's an honor of my lifetime to serve North Battleford as your mayor. I see the good here, and just like many of you, I see the potential to be more. We have challenges to overcome. We always will. But we have so much to celebrate together, to promote in our home of North Battleford. North Beautiful. We have state-of-the-art recreational and arts facilities, an outdoor haven of trails, lakes, skies, sports fields. We have a stable agriculture, energy, and healthcare sectors. We have an affordable cost of living. We have ever-improving post-secondary opportunities. We're a region rich in culture and history. We have connections to major highway, rail, and an airport. And most importantly, we have a generous community of individuals, community organizations, and businesses who make up the strength of the fabric that we call North Battleford. We're the major center to the entire northwest of Saskatchewan. But with all these amazing qualities and opportunities in North Battleford, we're not growing. It's interesting to me. It's actually the one thing that's remained constant in North Battleford since about the late 70s. It's the number of people who call North Battleford home. Our population has not grown, and our council would like to work to change that. Change is what we're going to need to be open to and work together on if we're going to chart a different path forward. It's kind of like a hockey game. We're down by one, heading into the third period. It's time to switch up the strategy. It's a risk, but it might just be what gets us the win. All fun hockey puns aside, we're really looking for a collaborative approach for the betterment of the region. We want to grow our community, expand our tax base, and entice industry and businesses to invest in the Battlefords. This provides a significant benefit to us all, not just to North Battleford. And we're going to need the entire community on board to help. We need help through engagement and feedback, and we need your help to really share and promote the great reasons to invest in and call North Battleford home. With this in mind, I reiterate the value and importance of continuing to work together. Your City Council continues to place significant value on building strong regional relationships, and we've seen many successes. Over the last few years, our important partnerships with First Nations and Métis governments and community members have resulted in some incredible developments in North Battleford. The Eagles Landing urban commercial development featuring Starbucks, the Métis Nation of Saskatchewan anticipated Ma Famille Centre, the signing of the Urban Reserve Services Agreement with Sweetgrass First Nation on the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, along with land sales and relationship building with local tribal councils and individual nations. One important project that's received tremendous support and partnership from local elders has been the development of the teepee to be placed at Tawau Point, or Welcome Point, which will be on King Hill. That's slated to break ground later this summer. This is a project that's being funded completely by donations, and we're very excited to have a large-scale monument to welcome people to North Battleford, a place rich with important Indigenous history to learn and celebrate. Stay tuned for announcements in the coming months on the donor contribution. We continue to receive an operational grant from the town of Battleford towards our regional recreation facilities and have regular dialogue with the town, the surrounding RMs, neighboring First Nations communities, and tribal councils. And we remain an active member of the Battleford's Regional Community Coalition. Today, I recognize these relationships, but must also highlight the importance of working together in ways that are mutually beneficial, as true partners. We know our city serves as the urban center for the northwest of the province, but more specifically, it's the urban center of the Battlefords. It's everyone's city. Resources, regional plans, and having open dialogues with one another ensures we're not only being efficient, but we're also creating a brighter future for all of our residents. This council is placing a lot of emphasis and pressure on economic development, and we've seen some great work on this file over the past couple of years. We're starting to see more land sales. In fact, in 2024, there were more land sales than there have been in the last 5 years combined. Our building permit values more than tripled in 2024 compared to 2023. Last year, 91 new business licenses were issued, 2/3 of which were for community residents. In 2025, the Economic Development Office is undertaking a retail gap study to help further their focus of attracting the businesses and services we need in North Battleford. This is an area in which things are happening which will support the overall goal of community growth and investment. Just over the last few weeks, we've seen changes around the city, from a couple of large Canadian retailers, unfortunately, preparing to close their doors. But we've also seen several small businesses opening and expanding. We've seen a lot of activity around the community. A new floral shop and a new convenience and grocery store downtown, a pet and feed store in Parsons Industrial Park, a classic candy store in the bowling alley, construction of a business expansion on 101st Street, an outlet surplus store on the north end of the city, and new restaurants in Yellow Sky and on 100th Street. It's an encouraging sign, and one we should all want to support. So my ask to you today is, before you head out of town and go to the movies, before you head to Costco, or before you shop online, head to these local businesses to see if they have what you need. The businesses that support our way of life in North Battleford cannot operate, expand, and support community initiatives without you. And from my experience, they're most often willing and able to find what you need if it's not on their shelves. In January of this year, Council authorized City Administration to proceed with amending the city's official community plan and zoning bylaw to allow for flexibility in business locations and add allowable uses for commercial spaces in the downtown core, all with a goal to essentially make North Battleford more business-friendly. These suggested changes are a result of feedback we've received from prospective investors and developers. We heard you, and we're acting on it. While the proposed amendments indicate modernizing zoning standards with more flexibility and enhanced mixed-use development, we've also approved a suite of incentives for the downtown area to continue to support and entice downtown development. The proposed zoning bylaw amendments will be coming to Council later this month, following public consultations with the Downtown Business Improvement District, Battleford's Chamber of Commerce, and from the general public and business community. The public open house will be March 19th from 5 to 7 at the North Battleford Public Library. If you can't make the public open house, I would encourage you to reach out to our city staff. Your participation and feedback are needed and encouraged. And with that, I really mean that. We want to work collaboratively with the community on these initiatives. Lately, it's become even more imperative to place an emphasis of supporting local businesses and domestic investments. It's not a secret that the economy is facing challenges and uncertainties with respect to tariffs, rising costs of inflation, and the rising base costs of raw materials, which are used by the city in everyday operations. As leadership, it's difficult to balance the cost pressures of these factors while maintaining service delivery to the community. I can assure you that Council works closely with administration and will remain flexible in an ever-changing economic landscape to evaluate different ways the city can offset these increasing costs to help ease the burden for residents and businesses. Just this week, we received a letter request from our provincial government and have directed administration to prioritize purchasing Canadian goods and services where possible, and are keeping procurement options open as we navigate this changing and turbulent time. This is another area where we should mention growth. Although inflation and cost increases continue to impact us, the city has not had a population that grows at the same time and pace to offset inflationary cost increases. This creates a situation where Council must decide between either increasing taxes or reducing service levels to offset increased inflationary costs. another good reason to have a goal to grow. The city's 2025 $45 million budget was approved in January. As part of that budget, the city will invest just over $3.5 million into capital and $4.5 million into UPAR infrastructure work on roads, pipes, and sidewalks. Following up with ongoing conversations with community members and the business community, the city will be undertaking a tax and utility rate study in 2025 to explore options for fair and modern tax and utility rate policies moving forward. Over the last few years, Council has been very thoughtful about planning for infrastructure and capital replacement or rehabilitation. If you follow the city's budgeting process, you'll know that there's now a 10-year plan in place to plot out how many dollars are set aside each fiscal year to put toward a significant future capital purchase, like large equipment purchases, upgrades to city recreational facilities, or with respect to infrastructure, rehabilitation of roads and underground services in the city. We're in a challenging environment with a combination of rapidly aging infrastructure, significant increasing costs, and uncertain financial support from higher levels of government for capital grants. We're always trying to find the balance between maintaining infrastructure and investing in the future. One of Council's more significant and time-sensitive considerations is the future of the Access Communications Centre, as our 1960s barn reaches the end of its life without significant investments. Engineering reports are showing us that we need to make significant capital investments in the ACC, possibly in the tune of $15 to $20 million, beginning in the coming 1 to 2 years, or it will have a closure date. This has prompted the city to begin having discussions with regional communities about pooling resources to build an arena and events facility that will serve not only the city, but regional residents for years to come. A new facility would maintain current programming, but would also grow both ice and off-ice programs. It would attract and retain professionals and families in our region, and it would attract events with significant economic and social benefit to the community. Events like Pinty's Grand Slam of Curling, large concerts, rodeos, or the Cantera Seeds or Centennial Cup. A new facility could do a lot of great things for our region, but we know it's a dream we cannot make true without regional communities on board to partner. Several months ago, the city formalized a fundraising committee, the Regional Enhancement, or REC Committee. This committee is made up of residents from the RM of Battle River, the RM of North Battleford, the town of Battleford, and one city resident, who all want to work towards an enhanced regional arena facility. We began having discussions with regional leadership, local chiefs, mayors, reeves, councillors, and tribal councils to discuss the future and the possibility of pooling our resources to do something greater and for the greater of all of our regional residents and businesses, about the possibility of working as joint partners on a regional arena and event center. I'm grateful to our neighbors for accepting the city's invitation to have this ongoing dialogue. To the Battleford's Agency Tribal Chiefs, Battleford's Tribal Council, the Battleford's Regional Community Coalition, Red Pheasant Cree Nation, Sweetgrass First Nation, the RMs of Battle River, North Battleford, Douglas, and Meota, and of course our closest neighbor, the town of Battleford. Thank you. Council members recently highlighted that they're having a great number of regional community members also engaging on this prospective project, enthusiastic about the possibility of the region working together. We'll have more information to consider by the end of March, when Council and participating community councils will be presented the completed Regional Arena and Event Center feasibility study, as well as an option with costs and work plan to reclaim the current ACC. By early summer, we should also have a good understanding of the fundraising capabilities in the region. And of course, we still have question marks on what kind of provincial or federal government support we could expect on such a project. With recent investments in equipment, we've seen a record number of potholes filled over the last year and expedited snow removal throughout the city. This year, in fact, I've received numerous calls about what a great job our city crews do on snow removal. So kudos to them. And thanks for that, because sometimes being in public service, you don't get thanked enough. So thank you for taking the time to give our crews a round of applause. Our operations department continues to go above and beyond to address issues with the city roads, but the reality is that the road failures are coming quicker than we can repair them through the city's UPAR projects. This year's UPAR project will be a significant rehabilitation of 110th Street from Pioneer Avenue to the 900 block, which will include a full restoration of underground services, sidewalks, and paving. We'll also see ditch and drainage improvements along with road improvements in Parsons Industrial Park. The city continues to build on our asset management data to help justify and prioritize projects based on things like age of pipe, maintenance issues, and condition of asphalt. Now, switching gears to a topic I know we're all interested in, crime and safety. I'm not sure if anyone has seen the headlines about crime lately in North Battleford, but if you haven't, crime rates are actually trending downward in the city. While social services are not under the mandate of a municipal government, we continue to support many proactive community-based organizations through grants, in-kind support, and advocacy. Groups like BGC Battleford's, Miwasin Kikinow, or BASAC, to name a few. We recognize that social agencies like these play a key role in our community safety and well-being plan. We invest substantially in policing and protective services. We have the largest CSO and RCMP detachment per capita in the entire province, and an active and supportive Citizens on Patrol program, who are always recruiting volunteers if you're interested. We place significant resources into community safety, and we believe this investment's paying off. We've seen a 32% decrease in motor vehicle thefts since the promotion of the 9 p.m. routine to lock up cars and remove keys from vehicles. Our 4-year investment in an RCMP 4-person gang task force unit, which served the entire Battleford's region, has resulted in a 64% reduction in firearms offenses in North Battleford alone. The province has seen the benefit of this unit and have now decided to fund the team by moving them to their provincial CERT division, which allows the city to shift 4 general duty members back to the detachment watches. This is more resources in our city with no additional cost. This year, we welcomed a new inspector to the Battleford's RCMP, Inspector Howe, who recently informed council that the detachment will continue to be focused on and proceeding with an even more proactive policing initiatives. In fact, I'd like to take this opportunity to formally introduce you to our new detachment commander, Inspector Ryan Howe. If you could come and join me on the stage for this next part. Now, the reason I asked Inspector Howe to join me on stage is that we're pleased to announce that we have a commitment from the RCMP to work on a downtown safety initiative. The downtown initiative will direct 3 RCMP members within the detachment to be specifically dedicated to downtown safety. The goal is to create an environment where everyone feels safe shopping, walking, working, investing, and banking. The 3 RCMP resources will be working directly with social agencies and CSOs in planning and implementing the Downtown Safety Initiative. The team will be ramping up over the next couple of weeks and will ensure a strong presence downtown with multiple foot patrols per day. They'll enforce laws for things like public intoxication or social disorder. They'll work to connect individuals to support when needed, and they'll engage with downtown businesses to understand and help address the concerns. Also, along with Inspector Howe, we're working on improved communications, and one of those initiatives is to inform citizens when there's a significant police presence in and around the community. The Battleford's RCMP detachment is now utilizing the Saskatchewan Crime Watch Network, which you can subscribe to through the Everbridge app. This, along with city messaging through Voyant Alert, will be utilized in real time to alert the community with timely and accurate information if there's an area to stay clear from or a reason to be on the lookout. Thank you to Inspector Howe for your willingness to work with the city to be responsive to the feedback we've heard from our community. Thank you. The City of North Battleford has been very intentional in addressing derelict and problem properties within the community, an effort led by the city's Fire Chief and Director of Protective Services, Lindsay Holm. Chief Holm leads an internal committee which deals specifically with derelict and unsafe properties and works with property owners to remedy any issues which are cause for concern of the safety of residents within that property or within the neighborhood. It's my hope that council can get more involved in the process as we go forward, so we can continue to evaluate bylaws or policies for potential city solutions and understand where provincial or other legislation could be improved. The city's currently lobbying the provincial government for additional scan resources to be deployed in North Battleford on a more permanent basis to help address problem properties in our neighborhoods. To that end, the city also looks forward to the Saskatchewan Marshal Service's anticipated arrival to the Battlefords this year in 2025. Their focus will be on prolific offenders, which we think will tie in very nicely with the work of the Gang Task Force Unit. Another initiative I'd like to briefly mention is that all members of the Battleford's RCMP detachment are now using body-worn cameras as part of their issued gear. We understand that this is an opportunity to improve the accountability of members as they respond to calls for service, and it can serve as a conduit to improve public trust in the police. Our community safety officers have been using these cameras for the last number of years, and council's received positive feedback from officers and the public. At this time, I'd also like to give thanks to Inspector Jesse Gilbert, who has been the commander and much of the driving horsepower behind our recent years' law enforcement initiatives. Not only have we seen reductions in crime statistics, but we're nearly full capacity with staff. This is for the first time in many years. We currently have RCMP members vying to work in the Battlefords, and this is no doubt due to the successful work of the detachment and community together. Inspector Gilbert has recently transitioned to a different role, but is staying in North Battleford, and I know is always a call or text away to advise us all. We appreciate all your hard work and leadership in the community. Thank you, Inspector Gilbert. Now, since this event last year, you might know, there has been a fundamental change in the way that Statistics Canada publishes crime data. Several communities, led by previous Mayor Gillen of North Battleford and Chief Laurie Whitecalf from Sweetgrass First Nation, provided a list of ways that the annual release of ranked crime data was harmful to smaller municipalities and lacked appropriate consultation with Indigenous leadership. This lobbying effort led to a complete overhaul of statistical reporting by the federal government. The data is still readily available for those who wish to see it, but no longer will communities be pitted or ranked against one another. An interesting piece of information: in Saskatchewan, North Battleford would not have even cracked the top 15 communities ranked by Crime Severity Index, let alone the top 1, if communities of all sizes had been ranked. This has led to the removal of our community and others, like Thompson and Prince Albert and more, being labeled as dangerous or most dangerous. While these labels may seem inconsequential to some, there's been significant damage done to our community's image over the last 15 years, when these rankings, which are not legally mandated, were first published. Our population has decreased. We struggle to attract qualified workers and investments in business and industry because of the mischaracterized perception of our community. The positive is, this data is now being used as intended and with proper context, as a police resourcing tool, not an indicator of community safety and well-being. It's our feeling that over the next couple of years, there will be a shift away from this negative perception, and a more accurate and positive picture of North Battleford will emerge, leading to renewed interest in all the great things our community and region has to offer. To wrap things up, I have to say, I really believe this. I think we're on the cusp of change and growth. But the choice to seize the moment will be up to all of us in the region. North Battleford is not what Maclean's says we are. We're a community of resilience, hope, and we have the ability to change. We have social challenges, crime, and poverty. But we have an opportunity, should we all take action, to move our city in a better direction. When you look at the incredible facilities in our community, like the Innovation Plex or our art galleries, coupled with the fact that you can get from point A to point B in our community in under 8 minutes, it's pretty wonderful to live in North Battleford. We're minutes away from adventure, with quick drives to Table Mountain or to Jackfish Lake in the Battleford's Provincial Park. We have the largest snowmobile trail system in the province right here in our backyard. Active and engaged community service providers are ready to lend support when needed. We have incredible First Nations powwows in the region, which draw people from all over Western Canada and the northern US. Our cost of living is lower than many other urban centers. And with the ability to have a great professional career in many areas in North Battleford, a family can take more of their income home by choosing to live here. If we truly and really want to change how the Battlefords is viewed by others, we must start outwardly celebrating the things that make our community unique. We must support our local businesses, and we must together start shouting from the rooftops what an incredible opportunity for a great life we have to offer here in North Battleford. If we don't take the time to celebrate all these reasons our community is great, why should anyone else? I'd like to leave a few moments for questions from audience members. So again, thank you to the event sponsors, fellow dignitaries, city administration, and all of you for attending today's event. I'm quickly learning that having conversations with businesses, residents, and visitors about how we can benefit or improve our community is one of the absolute best and biggest parts of my new role as Mayor of North Battleford. I look forward to building a bigger table, not a higher fence, as we collaborate to realize the full potential of North Beautiful, the place that we call home. Thank you.
Thank you to Mayor Hawtin, and thank you all for being so responsive. As Mayor Hawtin mentioned, we will do a quick Q&A. If you could speak as loudly as possible, that would be wonderful. We have our city manager and myself who are going to try to point out, and we'll do one question only, no follow-ups, all right? Okay, have at her.
Thanks. Going once, twice, sold, okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, I think George lives in town here. You mentioned downtown. You mentioned change. But right now, with all the clients that are downtown, we just boiled. And you mentioned the patrols. Will be starting. I don't know if they are. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, question regarding change in downtown and some of the social issues that you're experiencing downtown. Again, that's something I spoke to in my remarks. We hear that issue loud and clear from the entire community, not just the folks that work and have businesses downtown. And our goal, that initiative has started. It'll be ramping up over the next couple of weeks. Inspector Howe has got 3 RCMP members that will be dedicated to downtown, and they're engaging community service providers to assist them with that work. We're engaging community safety officers to assist with that work. I don't think we've ever seen a team with this strength being dedicated just to downtown, at least in the history that I have being on council. So your question, will we see change? I hope so. That's what we're working on. Thank you.
Well, thank you everyone for your time today, and a thank you, George, for that question, for not leaving us out to dry up here. Ladies and gentlemen, that will close it for the day. If any members of the media would like to do a quick media opportunity, we will have one right here by the side of the stage, so we'll invite you to come up. Otherwise, mix, mingle, and have a great day, and thank you everyone for coming out today. We appreciate you.
If you'd like to share your feedback on the program you just watched, contact us today